Hey everybody, welcome back to Dear Twin Flame. It's been a few days actually. It's been a few days, 3-4 days since I recorded last. It's been a bit of a rough weekend. You know the saying when you think you're doing good, shit hits the fan and life takes a toll. So yeah, I don't even know where to start. So Friday, after starting to feel better about things and thinking I was finally on the right track on my path, and that I'd gotten my connection under control with my twin flame, feeling like I was confident in my decisions and how to handle just how to handle the connection between us. I thought I'd gotten pretty good at determining what was mine and what was his, and releasing his back to him to handle and carrying on with my world, while acknowledging as well as sending love and light and hoping that he could navigate his path at his pace and I could carry on. Not sure what happened exactly Friday, but shit hit the fan on Friday. So my day started off feeling completely ill. So I have a tendency to feel when bad stuff's going to happen, or something's wrong with the day, or just when somebody needs support. And most of the time when that happens, I've either had a dream or I just have a gut feeling and somebody will come to mind, and I will drop that person an email or a text or a phone call and say, hey, just checking in, hope things are okay with you, you've been on my mind, if you need to talk, or even if I just had I had a really bad dream about you, and just be careful or just be aware that maybe something's not quite right. But I have that ability, or that availability, to call whatever person that is and say, hey, heads up. And that kind of releases me from that heavy burden of carrying this possible knowledge that they may need a shift in path, or yeah. Anyway, Friday I had one of those feelings. I just thought, oh, something's not right. Unfortunately, it was linked to my twin flame and his family, and I'm not allowed to contact them. So I didn't know what to do with it, and I did what I always do and just said, this is not mine. I send them love and light, and I hope everything is well. And kind of brush my hands of it and send it their direction. And all day I was nauseous. All day I was sick. And then picked up my kids from school, take them to swim practice, and everybody was fine. Everybody was okay, and they went in the pool. And at about 20 after 4:30, my youngest lost her mind, started bawling, crying, carrying on. When I asked her what was wrong, she couldn't tell me. She didn't know. She was upset. She was scared. She didn't feel good. And she just kept crying. She looked like somebody had beaten her. Eyes were all swollen. And we calmed her down a little bit, and then said, look, you have an hour left of your practice, calm down. I was kind of being a bad mom, and I kind of said, you're being hormonal, get back in the pool, and shake it off and get back in. There's nothing wrong. There's no reason you need to be crying. Carry on. An hour later, when they got out, she was still so shaken, so upset, crying, carrying on. And we talked, and she didn't really know. She blamed her brother because he told her she was slow, but it really wasn't equating to the dramatics of how she was feeling. And my parental intuition was defensive and wanting to help, and wanting to fix things, but not knowing how to fix anything because none of it was making sense. And then my son came out of the pool, and he too, he wasn't emotional, but he was like, oh, I hurt, my back hurts, my neck hurts, I'm just all stiff, I feel like I've been hit by a truck. And I was like, what is wrong with everybody? It's like, well, was it a tough practice? No, not really, but I just don't feel well. I just hurt, everything hurts. And I was like, seriously, just suck it up. There's nothing wrong with any of you. Carry on. And I didn't think anything of it. That part of me that questions these things had already been laid to rest, in that I'd already said, this is not mine, carry on, and released it. And I hadn't clicked into the fact that my kids are very much in tune with my twin flames kids, as am I, but I'm trying to walk a path where I recognize they aren't my kids, they're his kids, and I can't be mama bear about them, even though my gut wants me to be mama bear about them. So that was fine. I let it go. I didn't think anything of it. I just thought my kids were being crazy. And then the next day, things were rough. They were still sore. They were still emotional. Not to the extreme that they were Friday afternoon or Friday evening, but still not themselves. Just kind of shaken and not. And my daughter was just shaken, and my son was achy, sore. And I had a course to go to, so I went with my mom and some friends to a shamanic journeying course, which in itself is traumatic at times, enlightening always, but filled with lots of processing and lots of aha moments, lots of oh my god, what was that moments, and it was just it was a very intense day full of emotion. While I was at that class, I had contact with my twin flame's sister because she was also there. And I learned during our day that my twin flame's son was in a car accident, had been in a car accident on the Friday afternoon. I didn't know what time it was, but I suspected I knew what time it was by the reactions of my children. And when I asked the question of what time it was approximately, it was bang on to the emotion and hurt that my children were feeling. And I got very emotional. I got very emotional on a bunch of fronts, and I've had time to think about it, and I'm still getting emotional. But the things that I'm grappling with are, one, my children are hurt by it, which is hard to swallow because you want to protect your children, and they weren't even in the car, so why they are feeling it is hard to comprehend. But they are. Just when you think you've got us all contained in our own little boxes and divided enough that we're not suffering, when they are, something big happens and you realize that connection is still there. It's just maybe muted at times. But when it's big and it's extreme, it comes in full force. So that was one thing. One, because I want to protect my children from it. I don't want them suffering unnecessarily. The next part was that as a mom, even though he's not my son, he holds that place in my heart. And as a mom, you just want to go and make sure they're okay. You want to wrap your arms around them. Even though I was being told the information that was being shared to me was that he was fine and he was good, as a mom, you want to go and get that information for yourself. And I can't. I'm not allowed. So that is hard. It's not hard to accept. I understand why. My logical brain makes complete sense of it. I understand why I can't have that. But my heart still wants to see him and hug him and know he's okay. I'm very lucky that I have lots of people who can provide me with that information, but it's still really hard. Another part I had to recognize or reconcile with myself was that I didn't have that, I didn't reach out and say, be careful, something's going to happen today, because I had that premonition. I didn't know what it was and I didn't know when it was, but I knew something was wrong or going to be wrong, and maybe I could have prevented it. I know that's not logical, but that's still how my heart felt. So it's hard to release that bit of guilt. I don't know that I feel guilty, I just feel like I'm not being true to myself and I didn't follow my intuition. I released that back, and when people you love get hurt, it's hard to swallow. And then the last bit that I had to grapple with was although I'm not mad at my twin flame for anything, and he wasn't even in the car when it happened, I'm not mad at my twin flame for anything that has to do with our relationship, but there is a part of me, that mama bear part of me, that is angry that he isn't protecting his kids from the harm that I can see. And that I think he can see too, but he refuses to face. When you see people you love being hurt by others, it's hard to not be mad and say, it's your job to take care of them. Do better for them. If not for yourself, do better for them. I know all the logical reasons. I know the ego reasons for staying in a situation. I know the difficulties. I know what I'm asking, or what I'm, I know what I'm asking isn't an easy call. But as a mom, I don't understand how you can't walk through that fire to protect your children. And again, my twin flame was not in the car, and it wasn't even the person's driving's fault of what happened. It was someone else, from what I understand, who ran a stop sign. But you don't know if you've changed your path that he would have been in that car to be in that accident. And yes, he is fine, and I'm grateful beyond measure for that. I thank God. I am grateful beyond measure that he is good, and that he is fine, and that he has angels and guides protecting him. I've been thinking everything since the moment I heard, so I'm grateful for that. But there is a bit of me that's still angry, and I'm trying to work through that. Yeah. Okay. All that being said, apparently all my logical brain of trying to walk those boundaries and follow the rules and be analytical and critical thinking and all of the fact-based, sword-based thinking, I guess, is suppressing my emotions. So my spirit guides are telling me that I'm allowed to admit to all my emotions and that it's important that I admit to all my emotions. So my truth is that I am good in my world and things are so much better in my world. But stupid fly. And it's not really a but but my videos have been truthful in that I'm trying not to put pressure on my twin flame about what I want for him, and I don't want to put pressure on it. It's a collaborative effort of the two of us needing to come back into alignment, and I understand that, and I totally respect that, and I hope he finds his way on his own path. I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. That being said, my heart will always be with him because he is me and I am him. And I've learned to love myself, and as a result, I can't not love him. It's as simple as that. I love me, and he is me. Therefore, I love him. I think that's all for now. Dear twin flame, you are loved and you are missed, and I am grateful beyond words that your boy is well and safe. And just know that we are all feeling the same things. We're walking the path with you, so you're not alone.